Damn. Kagari got mad fucking skills. It's okay. Don't panic. There's still time. There's nothing to worry about. Suzuha's just fine. And then before long, Mayuri will show up at the lab like nothing happened. When I reached the radio building, I realized that many people in the crowd of pedestrians were holding their phones up to the sky. There was evidently no service in the station either. I took a moment to catch my breath as I looked up at the radio building. I could hear what sounded like a distant explosion. It wasn't just one. The explosions were coming in a series. Several of the people around me were glancing at their surroundings, confused by these unfamiliar sounds. And then I realized that was gunfire. I remember the sounds I'd heard during the battle between Cern's rounders and the Russian military. The sounds were coming from the roof of the radio building. Had I not made it in time? Suzuha! I ran into the building. For some reason, the elevator was under maintenance and turned off. I had no choice but to take the stairs. My heart was pounding so fast I thought it would burst, and I tripped several times due to how tense I was. I stumbled again and again on the stairs. How many times did I come up these stairs feeling like this? Cursing my lack of endurance, I headed for the top floor. When I got to the 7th floor, I ran into someone I hoped I wouldn't see. No, my guess that I'd run into them was right. I wish that I wasn't, but... Dr. Leskinen! Hello, Lintalo. I didn't expect to see you quite so early. Dr. Leskinen seemed perturbed when he saw my face. What are you doing here? Calm down for a moment. We can't talk when you're out of breath like that, can we? What are you doing here? What happened to Amadeus? The sampling test I asked you to perform ended 6 months ago. I can't tell you that. That was his answer. Even though Amadeus had disappeared, Leskinen was extremely calm. There was no sign of him trying to deal with the problem, and instead of being in his office, he was here. That was all I needed to know. So the message Kurisu sent me was true, wasn't it? The father she'd spoken of was Leskinen after all. What happened to Kurisu and Maho? You're trying to analyze their memory data to extract information on the time machine, aren't you? Well, this is a surprise. Kurisu told you all that? I thought I was keeping an eye on her. I wonder when she did that. Leskinen seemed truly shocked. Which means he hadn't noticed that Kurisu was an at-channeler, or that she'd spoken to me there. And then, Leskinen took out a gun and pointed it at me. It seems you've learned a little too much. Just who are you? A scientist. But science isn't a charity, you see. Are you aware of an American civilization intelligence company called Strategic Focus? Strategic Focus? The American company? Stratfor? I read about them on a conspiracy theory website. I remembered reading that they'd acquired top-secret information on Russian ballistic missiles that even the CIA couldn't get, and then sold it. The result was the destruction of the CIA's reputation, and at the same time, the total reorganization of Russia's military strategy. I mean, I'd even heard rumors that during the Gulf and Iraq wars, they'd obtained information about the warring countries faster than anyone and spread it as needed. The world government supposedly called them the Shadow CIA. So he was going to use Amadeus for military purposes. Was everything he said about that seminar just platitudes and lies? Well, I don't think I'm the one who's important here, am I? Anyway, Lintalo, I have something from Katsumi. You have the new encephalitis too, don't you? In fact, you seem to know how it works. That's very interesting. Would you be willing to offer that information to me? All you have to do is undergo a simple procedure. And I'll be happy to hire you as my assistant. For some reason, my whole body broke out in goosebumps at the word procedure. The Dr. Luskin I knew, the man with a childlike, mischievous heart and a deep scientific curiosity, the man who had been so kind to me, the man I respected, he was gone. In his place was the cruel scientific fundamentalist, who thought nothing of human lives or hearts as he pointed the gun at me. Or is this who he truly was? Suddenly, he seemed like a terrifying unknown. How about it? He took a step toward me. And then... another fierce gunfight broke out above. Liskinen clicked his tongue at the sound. He glanced toward the stairs. Why am I hearing gunfire? I told them so many times to handle this peacefully. I took advantage of the distraction. Luckily, I was still on the staircase. I tackled his legs as hard as I could and he lost balance and fell. He hit his head hard on one of the steps. After a moment's jerk, he stopped moving at all. He might be dead, but I didn't care anymore. Wow, if that's how Leskinen goes out in this timeline, fucking hell, that's hilarious. Tackled either legs, died in the stairs. I've become a murderer many times over already. I like how first murder, trauma. Second murder, fuck it, I'm in for the long haul now. When I opened the door, what I saw was a vision from the heart of hell itself. There was blood everywhere, and bodies too. What is this? In the middle of the sea of blood was a girl in a motorcycle suit and helmet, covered in crimson as she lay on the ground. She held a giant cleaver. I could see instantly that she was responsible for this disaster. Her shoulders moved up and down a little, so evidently she was still alive. I approached the woman, trying my best not to throw up from the stench. You okay? Mommy? I could hear a voice from beneath the cracked, broken helmet. I looked closer and saw some of the blood was her own. Her body was racked by bullet wounds, and her left hand was completely gone. It was a miracle that she somehow survived all that. She didn't seem to notice me as she slowly crawled through the blood. I followed her gaze and saw Mayuri huddled beneath the time machine. Suzuha seemed to be unhurt, but there was blood on Mayuri's face. Mayuri! I hadn't expected to see her here, but I was worried about her wound, but more than anything, I was glad to see she was safe. She raised her face when she heard my voice. But the next moment, her eyes were locked on the girl in the motorcycle suit. No! She saw the thing crawling toward her and screamed. Mama? Mommy? Mommy? This is what it looks like. Kagami didn't want to kill anyone. I just wanted to protect you. Kagari? Did she say Kagari? It was only then that I realized the girl in the motorcycle suit was Kagari Shina that Suzuha had been looking for. I'm sorry, Mommy. Kagari, that's enough! Suzuha yelled, unable to take any more. Don't move anymore! You'll die! Kagari didn't want to scare you. Really, I mean it. I just had to save you. So please don't hate me. I'm sorry, Mommy. Forgive me. At last, her strength failed as she collapsed. I returned to my senses and ran to her before Suzuha could get there. Hey! You okay? Her breathing was wheezy and shallow. One of the bullets had probably pierced her lungs. I thought that taking off the helmet would help her breathe, so I put my hand on to remove it. But she grabbed my hand and pushed it away. No! Don't! Don't take it! Not in front of Mommy and Big Sister Suzuha! Please, Okabe. Her voice, and the way she talked. I realized who this girl called Kagari Shina was. I looked close and saw I recognized her face. No. You're... But why? Uncle Ocarin! Is Kagari okay? Stay back! I quickly motioned for Suzuha to keep her distance. Leave it to me! You take care of Mayuri! Is she okay? Check for me! She looked upset, but did as I asked. She went back to Mayuri and started to look at her wounds. Mayuri was covering her face and trying not to look at the bodies. It's okay! It's not deep! I relaxed a little when I heard that. I'm so glad. You're safe, Mommy. Kagari's voice was a whisper as I cradled her in my arms. And then she slowly closed her eyes. Her breathing got weaker. Hang in there! Why? Why are you? It's okay. Don't worry. Even like this, I don't suffer or feel pain. I always hear the voice of God. He tells me that it doesn't hurt, that I don't feel the pain. So I'm just... I'll tell you, Okabe. Doesn't know anything. She's been in Europe on an exchange program for 3 years. The professor manipulated things behind the scenes to send me to Akihabara. The real one doesn't know anything. The professor? Did she mean? This world line? Ashida and the real one will meet next year. Kagari opened her eyes a little once more, and looked toward the time machine, toward Mayuri and Suzuha. It's okay. I'm sure the real one will love Hashira too. Just as I did. I said it. Don't tell anyone, okay? And this time, her smile was still shining in her eyes. They closed for real. With one final shudder, the strength left her body. Her life faded away in my hands. There was so much I wanted to ask her. Why'd she appeared before us using that name? There were so many things I didn't understand. But Kagari Shina's life ended in that moment. Uncle Ocarine! Is Kagari okay? I came back to my senses when I heard her voice. I told her about Kagari's death. If I told her about Kagari's death, it would cause her a lot of mental stress. That wasn't a good idea. Right now I needed to do something about the time machine as fast as possible. She's okay. I'll take her to the hospital. I slung Kagari's bloody body over my shoulder and stood up. You shut down the time machine and hide it. The cops will be coming. It's too late. What? Before I could open the door, a huge shadow appeared from within. Professor. He wasn't dead? He must have taken a lot of damage to the head because his face was the color of clay. One of his eyes wasn't focusing. This'll be a war zone soon. America, Russia, and Japan have all started to move. Once the gears start turning, you can't stop them. If Kagari had only told us sooner, things wouldn't have gotten this bad. Laskinen knew about Kagari? Which meant that I was right. But Suzuha spoke before I could. I see. So you're the professor. You're the one who brainwashed Kagari, aren't you? Is that true? Is that the kind of person you are? I myself haven't done anything. Laskinen didn't try to deny it. 10 years ago, I found a helpless girl in the streets and helped her so she could grow up like this. Helped her? This never would have happened if she'd lead a normal life. Did you not yell like that? My head is killing me. I'm telling the truth. She made contact with me. It was her plan to get plastic surgery and infiltrate the city. Evidently, the voice of God in her head kept telling her everything she needs to do. At first, I thought it was a homeless girl making up stories in hopes of getting food. But when I examined her brain and her memories, I found something very interesting and wonderful. This god she spoke of. And even has his face twisted in pain, he smiled proudly. This god she spoke of. It was me from the year 2036. You really are a mad scientist. Suddenly I heard a siren down below. Just hearing the sound made me feel uneasy. I never heard a sound like it before. What is this? This is guerrilla attack information. Repeat, guerrilla attack information. A guerrilla attack may occur in the area. Please, get indoors and obtain further information from radio or television broadcasts. I heard that announcement coming from the speakers on the street. A guerrilla attack? I could hear several helicopters in the sky above me. Their engines were clearly more powerful than the ones in the media news choppers. I recognized the sounds from the time I'd spent in the wartime world line. I told you, didn't I? There's about to be a war over the time machine, right here! The Third World War's about to begin? I'm sure the people here have no idea a world war is about to begin in the middle of their city. And then Leskin leaned up against a wall, sat down and stopped moving. Whether he passed out or gone into a coma from the brain damage, I didn't have time to find out. It was like the air in the city had gotten heavier. That's how it felt. A chill ran down my spine. I spent a month at war in that world line. And the same future was about to begin here. Something like that couldn't happen in Japan. It was like a TV show or a movie. But I knew instinctively that this wasn't fiction. There had been signs since 6 months ago. Here, in Akihabara, in Tokyo, in Japan. Spies and soldiers from all around the world had been working in the shadows. So I'd known this would happen. By refusing Suzua's request and choosing the world line where Mayuri survived, I doomed over 5 billion people. I was the one who chose this. It was me. Uncle Okarin! I looked and saw that Suzuha was pushing Mayuri into the time machine. We're going to have to jump to the past! What? Take care of Kagari! Suzuha had no idea that Kagari was already dead. She leaped into the cockpit. I raced over and grabbed onto the hatch, then looked inside. You caught me in a year ago! You're going back there? So suddenly? It's not sudden! And we're not going back there! She was tapping commands into the console as she spoke. What do you mean? What do you mean you're not going back there? I'm borrowing Big Sis Mayu for a little. Mayuri was already strapped into a seat. Just like when I jumped a year ago with Suzuha. Mayuri. You... Okarin! I heard fierce gunfire and screams in the distance. It looked like some of the spies had started fighting each other. Kagari may have just wiped out a force from one nation, but armies from an entirely different one were still coming. Okarin! Here! Mayuri handed me a smartphone. I took it without thinking. I can't get a signal, so I'll get this message to you, okay? Read the message, and I'll tell you how Mayushi feels. Wait! Where are you going? If you go, it won't change anything! You can't do anything! And if you go, you won't be able to come back! No! It can't be you who does it, Okarin! This is Mayushi's job! I don't understand! I don't know what you're talking about! Please! Get out of the time capsule, Mayuri! If you leave the wheel of causality, then I won't even know why I chose this world line! Okarin! Mayuri gently rubbed my cheek. And she smiled sadly. She softly pushed on my shoulder. It threw me off balance and made me let go of the hatch. Then the hatch closed. Mayuri! Wait! It was too late. By the time I grabbed back on, the hatch was sealed shut. The door controls were biometric. Only Suzuha could open it now. The time machine started to roar. A pale light began to gather around it. I'd seen this before in the Alpha World line. Hi. Mayuri. Just then a group of armed men kicked open the door and swarmed the roof. They were highly trained military operatives. And then an attack helicopter descended from the skies. The soldiers started to shoot at it, but the helicopter seemed to ignore them and slowly hovered in place. I realized the powerful rocket launchers on either side of its body were aimed at me. No, at the time machine. It couldn't be. No. Don't. But my worst fears were realized. The helicopter fired its rockets. It headed straight for the time machine. It was still there, shrouded in light. No! The second I yelled, a powerful blast blew me back. The next thing I knew, I was crawling on the ground. I saw that some of the soldiers had already joined the mountain of corpses on the ground, and some of them were still shooting at the helicopter. I stood up as fast as I could. My whole body felt like it was on fire. My skin was burned in places. My clothes had been blasted off. No, my own problems didn't matter. What about the time machine? I looked up toward where the time machine had been. If it had jumped in time, it should have been able to avoid the rockets. But... there were scraps of metal everywhere. I could tell they belonged to the time machine. Had I not made it in time?
Suzuha.
Suzuha?
Mayuri?
Mayuri? I looked around in the cloud of smoke.
No. Mayuri?
Mayuri? Where are you?
Mayuri!
Mayuri!
Suzuha!
Suzuha! Answer me! There were bodies everywhere, but I couldn't see Mayuri or Suzuha. I couldn't even tell if they were alive or dead. There were no bodies. They'd simply vanished. After that, things went far beyond my power to control. Brutal battles took place on the ground and in the sky of Akihabara. I seen footage of war in the Middle East on the news. Those same scenes were playing out in Akihabara. I managed to slip through the chaos of the battle and barely escape the radio building with my life. I had no choice but to leave Kaguri's body. I took the long way back to the lab so that no one would find me. By the time I arrived, the sun had set, and the night sky was illuminated with explosions and tracer rounds. The whole of Akihabara was like someone had poked a beehive. The lights were out at the lab, but inside I found Daru, Maho, and Faris staring at the TV and computer monitor.
Okarin!
Okarin! Okabe! I'm glad you're safe. Wait! You're hurt! Are you okay? Did you get caught up in the fighting? First aid! Quick! I didn't have the energy to answer. I looked toward the footage on the TV screen. The reporter was wearing a bulletproof vest and hard hat. He was screaming at the top of his lungs, trying to drown out the reporters from other stations. It's like a war zone! The area around Akihabara Station and Center Street has been cut off. US and SDF helicopters and tanks are... Oh, just now I had another huge explosion. Is this really in Japan? I feel like I'm reporting on a civil war. The government says that it's terrorism, but I can't imagine. And then a stray shot from an anti-material rifle fired by a special forces team from some country or another struck the news van's engine and blew it up. Ugh! It exploded! There's been an explosion! You trying to get killed? Get out of here! This is war! You're going to die! An SDF soldier forced his way onto the screen and yelled at the media to run away. War? With who? Hell if I know! Just after I heard another explosion and the video was cut off. Did they take a direct hit? Everyone fell silent. It's dangerous here too. I can't go home. The net's in an uproar. Hey, Yokarin! Where's Suzuha? And did you find Mayushi? Suzuha and Mayuri. Suzuha and Mayuri either went back to the past, or they're dead. What? Daru stormed up to me, infuriated. What do you mean? Which is it? An attack helicopter fired a rocket launcher at the time machine. It was destroyed. Suzuha and Mayuri were aboard. They were about to go back to the past. I saw some pieces of the time machine left, but it wasn't everything. And Daru. I looked, but I couldn't find Suzuha and Mayuri's bodies anywhere. Not even a piece. It was like they vanished without a trace. Do you think they made it back to the past? The tears I tried so hard to hold back came pouring out. Daru fell to his knees. Paris and Maho were staring at me, eyes wide in shock. Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! Daru slammed his fist into the floor. This can't be happening! It can't! I tried to wipe away my tears and realized I was holding something in my right hand. It was the cell phone that Mayuri had given me. She told me to read the message on it. It wasn't locked. I opened the mail folder. There were several unsent messages addressed to her friends and family. One of them was addressed to me. Was this what she wanted me to read? With shaking fingers, I tapped on the screen and to open the message. It's gonna make me fucking cry, isn't it? Dear it's Mayushi! I knew I should probably tell this to you face to face, but I wasn't sure if I could say it right. And I wasn't sure what I'd do if you tried to stop me, so I decided to send a message instead. I'm going back to the past with Suzu. You're probably mad, and you want to know why, right? But it's something I have to do. You see, I was the one who hit my Hikaboshi. My strong Hikaboshi. Who always got back up and laughed no matter how bad things was. I was the one who hid him behind the dark clouds. I was wrong. No one was trying to make you save the future all by yourself.
してなかったんだね。オカリンの周りには
You've got Daru and Suzu and Luca and Faris
さ
and
ん
Yuki
もいて、
and now Maho.
デカ君もいて、だから今度はね、
So this time it's my turn. This is my first big mission as Labman 002.
ナンバー002の初めてのオカリンは
I'm sure you're worried, but I'll be fine.
それにもし
And if something
何かあ
happens,
ったとしても
I know you'll come to save me.
必ず助けに来てくれるって信じてるから。私の大好きな
The hero and Kiyama I love will come riding in a new time machine he made to save the
私
day.
が作ったタイムマ
I
シ
know
ン
it.
に乗って必ずだから私は行ってきます。
I'm going.
必ず
I promise I'll come back.
オカリンのところ
I'll
へ
come back to you, so
戻ってきます。
just wait for me a little, okay?
少しだけ待っててね。私はホーイン
I love
キ
How
ョ
and
のことが
Kiyama.
好き。でもね、
But, you know,
岡部倫太郎のことは
I love Okabe Rintaro even
も
more.
っと好きだよ。
Mayuri.
お前忘れてるだろ。
You forgot, didn't you?
お前は俺の
You're my hostage.
人質なんだぞ。いなくなったら
You can't be my hostage
人
if
質
you go
になら
away.
ないじゃないか。何かあったら助けに来いだと。
You want me to come save you if something happens?
人質のく
What
せ
kind
に
of hostage are you?
狂気のマッドサイエンティストがお前なんかのために
The mad scientist of madness would never go to save you.
なんか
To save you?
お前はバカだ。
You're an idiot.
でも
But
もっとバカだったのは
I'm a bigger idiot.
この俺だ。
My heart was in pain. It hurt so much. It was just like after I'd killed Kurisu. Maybe I'd be better off if I just fell over and died. I would do anything to be released from this pain. But in the corner of my tear-blurred vision, I saw it. Hyo and Kyoma's final weapon. His last hope. No. It was the thing that had brought me so many nightmares. I staggered to the development room and threw off the cardboard that was covering it. There it was. The foam wave, name subject to change, Unit 2. The thing that Maho and Daru had been working on behind my back. If I could complete this... I turned around, wiped away my tears, and saw my friends looking depressed in the middle of a darkened room.
お前たちタイムリープマシンの
You said you didn't know how to make a time leap machine, right?
俺の言う通りにしてくれるか。
What will you do if I tell you?
クリスの導き出した回を
I'll give you the answer that
お前
Kurisu
たちに
discovered.
伝える。それで
And then we'll activate the
タイ
time
ムリー
machine.
プマシンは起動する。
Maho said the one thing she didn't know was how to compress the memory data, which meant that everything else was finished, and I knew how to complete it. Daru was the first to nod.
僕やるよ。
I'm in! Tell us, Okarin!
教えてくれオカリン。
私も手伝うわ。
I'll help too.
決まりだにゃ。
It's sold, yeah! All three of us responded with no hesitation. They turned toward me and spoke their answers clearly.
よし。
Alright,
ダル。
Daru.
キングをかけてくれ。
I want you to hack CERN.
死を遠隔操作する。
We'll need to remote control the LHC.
そこで
We'll use that to compress the memory data down to 36 bytes.
それなら過去へ転送
That's small enough to send back to the past.
たったの。
Just Just 36 bytes. You could tell she was a scientist by the way her face went pale by the number. But sometimes this thing just doesn't work right. Sometimes it's just a normal microwave. It's the 42-inch CRT in the Brawn Tube workshop. The phone wave named something to change only works when it's turned on. CRT TV. Oh, so that's it. Just the words CRT were enough for her to figure it out. The life was coming back to their eyes. Then we may be able to finish it after all. But even if we finish it, you're going to start using it now? We can't run human trials without doing anything else first. You're not confident in what you built? But Kurisu did it already in another world line. That's because she's Kurisu. I can't be her. You saw Kurisu's message on that channel, right? What? Lastly, I'd like you to pass on a message to the person I respect the most. I've always regarded myself as an essentially ordinary intellect. And you were the person I always wanted to be. You were the real Amadeus. You got Kurisu to say that, and now you're going to run away? I'm not running away. Don't underestimate me. I nodded back and smoothed back my hair, which had been mussed by the explosion. Kyoma! Here! Paris brought me my white lab coat, which had been hanging for ages on the wall in the development room. I bit down on my lip and wiped away the tears one more time. I took the lab coat and slipped my arm through the sleeves. I spun around so that the hem of the coat flew up. I stood triumphantly in the center of the lab, just as I used to. And then I declared in a loud voice, "We will complete the phone wave, name something to change Unit 2, and perform a time leap. Lend me your aid! This time, I'm never giving up!" I looked at Daru, at Faris, and finally, at Maho. Even if I fail the first dozen times, or the first 100 times, I'll try 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times, or 1,000,000,000 times. I'll save them all. Suzuha, Mayuri, and Kurisu too. And this is the first step. For the first time in a year, I was back to my old self. My friends saw me and nodded, their faces filled with resolve. It took almost 2 full days to finish work on the phone wave. Meanwhile, the chaos in Akihabara continued. It wasn't safe outside. Working on the time leap machine while knowing that the battle might reach us any minute, or that the Special Forces team might burst in at any time, was a hard job that wore on our nerves. But still, we managed to finish the machine somehow. I jumped. Man, they got a fancy new animation for this, didn't they? The next thing I knew, I was standing in the middle of an Akihabara alleyway. I was holding a cell phone in my hand. I had a nasty headache. There was a stinging pain in my neck. You know what? After the way you described time leaping in the original Steins Gate, that's a fucking improvement. I felt a pain on the side of my head like a migraine headache, and the left side of my face hurt really bad. My vision flashed with dark and bright spots. I took a look around. The alleyway was still peaceful. I heard no gunshots and no explosions. The otaku were enjoying their shopping, and girls in maid outfits calling out to passers-by. That alone was enough to tell me for sure that the time leap was a success. I looked at the time on my smartphone. July 7th, 5:45 PM. I had around 40 to 50 minutes before the war began. That still wasn't enough. But the 48-hour limit on the time machine meant that this was as far as I could go. No point getting negative. If the machine had been finished just a little later, it would have been too late. I should be glad to have made it here at all. I knew what I'd been doing all this time. I was running around Akihabara looking for Mayuri. First, I need to call Maho. She should have been looking for Mayuri too. Hello? Did you find her?
Yeah.
No, but I know where she is. Hurry back to the lab. I hung up before she could answer and went back to the lab myself. She was already there by the time I arrived. You found Mayuri, right? Don't you have to go get her? Daru was acting a little awkward, probably because he just hit me. Hyujo! You did it! Huh? I grabbed both of her hands and shook them. Both Maho and Daru seemed confused as to what was going on. I've time-leapt here from 48 hours in the future. What? Seriously? We finished it? Sometime in the next 48 hours? Yeah. But how? I'll explain later. There's no time, so listen carefully. A lot of lives are at stake. I've gone over the mission many times while waiting for work and the phone wave to finish. I thought of everything to say. Hyujo, access Amadeus right now and delete Kurisu and Maho, as well as their backups. Leskinen's not planning on using them for peaceful purposes at all. What? I can't just... I told you I time-leapt here, right? Akihabara's gonna be a war zone in less than an hour from now! They're coming for the time machine! And that will be the beginning of the Third World War. If we don't stop it, Suzuha and Mayuri will both die. Maho and Daru went pale after they heard that. Really? Wait, really? So, do as I tell you! Please! I can access the data, but to do anything, only the professor's access rights. That's Daru's job. Crack in and destroy all the data. Okie dokie! Leave it to me! Daru started typing at incredible speed. His daughter's life was on the line. Maho stood next to him and typed in her ID and password to begin accessing Amadeus. I'm going to the radio building. You guys stay here. Okarin! Take care of Suzuha! Right. Leave it to me! Daru didn't even look up from his computer. Suzuha! Mayuri! When I made it to the top of the radio building, Mayuri quickly ducked behind the time machine. Okarin! Mayuri was trying not to look at me. Her eyes were a little red because she'd been crying so much. She'd heard me talking about Kurisu's sacrifice in the Alpha World line. My heart ached again, realizing how much I'd hurt her. Mayuri. You're going to use the time machine to go back to the past.
俺は48
I've
時間
time lapse from 48 hours in the future. I know all about it.
それ
Is that true? I nodded.
ここはあと30分もしないうちに戦場に
This
なる
place is going to be a war zone in less than 30 minutes. What?
まさかタイムマ
Did
シン
someone find out about the time machine somehow?
あ
Yeah.
まずいだったら今
That's
すぐに飛ぶしかない
I will have to jump right now. Suzuha leapt into the time machine.
いやちょっと
No.
待ってくれ
Wait just a second.
ダルドヒアジョー
Daru and Hiyajo are dealing with
手
it.
を打っているところだ優秀な二人だ
They're smart people.
必ずうまくいくだろ
It'll go fine. But
うもし仮に
But if it
思い通
doesn't-
りにいかなかったら
行かなかったら
if it doesn't,
お前たちは
you may
死
die.
ぬかもしれない
かもしれないってどういう
What do you mean, May?
オカリン
What
おじさんが
happened was
タイ
just
ムリ
before you
ープする前
time
の
leaped.
世界で私たちはどというかおじさんが
Wait.
タイムリープしてきたってこと
Was
は
there some fatal failure before you time leaped, right?
失敗があった
Right?
そうなんだね
I didn't know if I should tell them. No, there was no time to hesitate.
鈴葉とマユリが乗っていたタイムマシンは
You were inside the time machine, and just before it jumped, it was hit by a rocket launcher.
直撃を受けたでも
But
乗っていたお前たち二人の死体は
I couldn't find your
マ
bodies
シ
in the
ンの
rubble.
残骸の中からは見つからな
なるほど
I see.
だから
That's why you
か
said
もしれな
maybe.
いかそれなら未来は確定して
And
な
the
い
future hasn't been decided.
まだ成功の可
There's
能性
still a
は残され
possibility
て
of
る
success.
鈴葉ならそう言うと思
I
う
thought you'd say that.
止めないでよ
Don't try and stop me, Uncle. Her eyes were filled with resolve. They seemed to say that if I tried to stop her, she'd do whatever it took to ensure I failed. Of course, I had no intention of stopping her. She'd come here to do her job, and there was no way to change her mind. Actually, I'd come here to ensure that she could jump without having any worry about Stratfor's interference. But Mayuri... The uncertainty that had been going in and out of my mind ever since I read her message reared its head again.
なあマユリ
Mayuri,
本当に行ってしまうのか
are you really leaving?
お前に隠し事をしていたのは
I'm sorry I didn't tell you.
でも
But I,
俺も
and Kurisu, and everyone
みんなが
else, we
お前
love
の
you.
こと大好きなんだそんなお前を助けたくて
I came to this world line because I wanted to save you.
なのにお
So,
前が行ってしまったら
If you leave,
俺は
we...
俺たちは
おかり
Ocarina.
いや
No,
お前の気持ちは
I know exactly how you feel, but...
ね
Hey,
えおかり
Uncle
おじさん
Ocarin? And then Suzuha spoke softly.
オペレーションアークライトが
Operation Aquila has begun.
オペレーションアークライト
Operation Aquila?
私が聞かされていた当
It's
初の
not the
計画と
original
は
plan
違
I
う
was told about.
戻
We're
るのは
not going back
去
to
年の
July
7月
28th.
28日じゃなくて
We're going to August
8
21st.
月21日になった
8月21日
August 21st? That was the day Suzuha had come in the time machine. And the day I'd given up on everything.
そのオペレーションには
We need
ま
big...
ゆ姉さんも必要
We
なん
need
だ
Big Sis Mayu for the plan to work.
未来の父さんから
That's what my dad told me from the future just now.
ついさ
なんだって
What? In the future, Daru had come up with an operation I knew nothing about? And he needed Mayuri for it? Is the... I'm just thinking because... I'm just working this out in my head. Because in this timeline, Mayuri basically said different things to me. She was like, "Oh, Corinne, we understand that you've had enough with this, so it's okay to give up or whatever." But in like the original Steins Gate, she like Gave me the pep talk I needed to go back and actually save Kurisu. And then Operation Earth began. So is there a plan for Mayuri to go back and give me the pep talk I need to actually do this shit? Her unexpected words sent my mind reeling.
Okari.
Okarin. And then Mayuri came close enough for me to hold her and grabbed my hand tight. She looked a little like she was about to cry, but her eyes were clear and bright.
Mayuri.
Mayuri.
行かせて。
Let me go. Okay?
マユシーもラボメン
She's
な
a
んだよ。
lab member too, you know?
落ち込んじゃってる彦星さんを
Mayushi's gonna take her glum
Mayushi
Hikoboshi and slap him across the face,
叩
okay?
いてきてあげるから。お願い。
Please. I remembered what was in that message. I remembered how she must feel right now. The last remnants of my hesitation slowly melted away.
俺は
I
俺一人で何もかも
thought I was
背負ってる
carrying all the burden myself.
勘違いしていたんだな。
But I was wrong, wasn't I?
周りのことが
I couldn't see what
見
was
え
right
て
in
なかっ
front
たん
of
だ
me.
な。マユリだけじゃない。
It wasn't just you, Mayuri.
俺の近くには
I had the rest of the lab with me
た
too.
くさんのラボメンたちが。
おかり。
Okarin. Well, that's problematic. I suddenly felt a horrible pain in my leg as the shock knocked me several meters forward onto the ground.
おかりおじさん。
I looked down at my leg and saw there was a red stain around the calf. It felt like it was on fire. The pain flared up each time my heart beat and I couldn't stand. Was I just shot?
お前。
You're... Kagari! A girl in a motorcycle suit was standing there. Kagari had a handgun in her right hand, and in the left she was holding what looked like a bomb. There was no sign of the professor or the other men in camo. That much was fortunate. But Kagari had shown up a little earlier than I expected. I hadn't quite planned for this, but evidently I'd run out of time. Tazua! Get in the time machine! Go now! What? I'm sorry for being stupid. Dara's capable of doing whatever it takes to protect you. He's never going to fail, and you know that!
おかりおじさん。
Uncle Okarin! So the machine will be just fine, right?
もちろん。
Of course! In fact, there was no sign of anyone but Kagari showing up. That meant that Dara and Maho's efforts had been successful and they kept the secrets of the time machine out of Stratfor's hands. Mayuri! You too! Hurry!
でもおかりは。
But what about you, Okarin? She was looking at my injured leg and panicking.
俺のことなら心配ない。
There's no need to worry about me.
14年後までは
I'm not gonna die for another 14 years. Kagari fired again. The bullet struck less than 30 centimeters away from where I was lying on the ground.
誰も動いちゃダメ。
Nobody move! Or I'll kill him!
殺しちゃうよ。マシンに乗らないで。
Don't get in the time machine! I'm going to give it to the professor!
その後使い方を教えてもらって。
And then I'm going to have...
かがりが未来へ
And then I'm going to have him tell me how to use it! Go back to the future! Forget about her! I'll handle this! Just go! You too, Suzuha! You can leave Kagari to me!
分かった。
Got it!
マヨネさん。
Big Sis Mayu! Inside! What? Wait! Suzuha pushed Mayuri inside the time machine and out of sight.
オカリンおじさん
Uncle Ocarin!
係の
Take care of Kagari!
頼んだよ
Roger! Suzuha followed Mayuri inside. And at the same time, the hatch started to close.
ダメだって言ってるのに
I told you not to do that! Come out! Kagari ran up to it. I forced myself to stand up, ignoring the piercing pain, and blocked her way. I won't let you interfere!
うるさいどけ
Shut up! Move! I refuse!
どけよ
Move! Kagari kicked my injured leg, and hard. The pain made me so dizzy I could hardly stand. Kagari slipped past me and tried to grab onto the time machine. She was going to use the bomb in her hand. If she did, things would turn out the same as last time. My time leap would be wasted.
見ろじゃないと
Get out!
この爆
Or
弾
I'll
で
use this bomb to blow up the time machine!
死
Stop! I grabbed her from behind and wrapped my arms into hers. I pulled her away from the time machine, ignoring the pain in my leg. Don't you understand? If you do that, your mom's going to die! But just calm down! Please! Mayuri tossed a hard drive to me Mayuri tossed a hard drive to me from the almost completely closed hatch.
オカリンこれ
Ocarin! Here! What fell on the floor was the thing Kurisu had left behind for Maho. This is Kurisu's! How did it get here? We didn't destroy it. This okay. Now I understand. That's the hard drive that Suzuha found. I thought Russia had destroyed it.
父さんを怒らないでやって
Don't get mad at Dad.
これからのタ
I
イム
think
マ
he's
シン
gonna need it for
研
the
究
time
に
machine research.
必要なものだと思うから
I could just barely hear Suzuha's voice from within the machine. So that was it. Daru had hid it in the time machine.
それじゃあオカリン
Bye, Ocarin! I'll come back, okay? I could see Mayuri looking at me from the small gap in the door. That's right. This was a temporary goodbye. I'd see her again someday. Right, Mayuri? So I would send off my brave Lab Mem 002 with my head held high. I'm counting on you, Lab Mem 002, Shina Mayuri. Execute Operation Aquila! Slap me in the face for being so pathetic! Leave it to me!
オカリン私ね
Ocarin!
オカリンのこと
I love you! Yeah. I smiled as the hatch sealed completely shut. The time machine started to roar. I felt like I heard a helicopter in the distance. I believed in him, but for now I had no proof that Daru had been able to crack the complicated Amadeus program and delete every bit of data. It was possible that special forces teams from around the world were already converging on Akihabara right now. Imagining that made me want to hurry. Quickly! Go! Quickly! I felt like praying as I watched the pale light surrounding the time machine.
行かないで
Don't go!
鈴葉お姉ちゃん
Mommy! Big Suzuha! Kagari's cry went unanswered. A bright light covered the time machine, and it vanished from this world.
成功だ
It worked. Kagari sobbed and glared at me with eyes full of hate.
どうして
Why?
どうしてママを行かせた
Why did you let Mommy go? She shook away my hands and pointed the gun at my head. I stared her dead in the face.
君の素晴らしいママは鈴葉と
Your
一緒に
wonderful mommy's gone with Suzuha to go scold a stupid man who ruined the world.
しかりこの世界のために
She's going to do something very
とっ
important
ても大事な
for
こ
the
とを
sake of the whole
し
world.
てきてくれるんだ
嘘
You're lying.
嘘
You're
だ
lying.
ママも鈴葉お姉ちゃん
Mommy
も
and Big Sister Suzuha
二人を
both
置
left
き
me
去りにして
behind.
いったんだ
嘘じゃない
I'm not lying.
俺も
And I'm
君がもっと
and I'm about to go
幸せな場
make
所
it
で
so you can meet Mommy in a much happier place.
だから
So let's stop
もうや
this,
めにしよ
okay?
そんな
No,
そんな話
I can't believe that.
信じられないう
いや
No,
君なら信じてくれ
I
る
know you'll believe me
だって俺は
because I know who you
君
already
が
are
本当は誰で
and how kind you really are.
どんなに優しい人か
The gun barrel started to shake a little.
私を知って
You
る
know me?
知ってる
I do.
俺は
I've time lapsed 48 hours in the future.
タイムリープしてきたからな
Kagari put her hands to her head as her body spasmed with pain.
神様の声が
I hear the voice of God.
騙されるなって
It tells me not to believe you.
お前は嘘つき
You're
な
a
んて
liar. And an enemy, it says.
ママのところへ帰
It
れ
says
るようになるっ
It
て
says if I kill you, I can get back to Mommy.
世界を破壊しようとする悪
It
いや
says
つ
to
は
kill the bad man who's trying to destroy the world.
それで私は
And I could go back to my old world.
戻れる
Kagari wasn't making any sense. Was this the brainwashing? Had the professor done something so cruel?
わからないわからないわ
I
か
don't understand! I don't understand! I don't understand! I grabbed the flailing hand that held the gun and looked deep into her eyes. She was crying and scared.
聞くんだ
Listen,
ママはきっともう戻ってこない
Mommy's not coming back.
でも
But if we do our best,
頑張れば
we can make it.
もしか
We
した
may be able to make a world where you and Mommy can be happy.
幸せな形で一緒に暮らせる世界が君のママは
That's why she traveled through time.
時間を飛び越えていったんだそのママの気持ち
You
を
mustn't waste the chance she
台無
gave
しに
you.
しちゃダメだ君は
You can still start
今からでも
over.
やり直せる
神様の声に
It's okay.
逆らっても
Disobey the voice of God.
あ
Yeah. The voice of God she was hearing was probably the professor's brainwashing. How far had its claws sunk into her mind, I had no way to tell. But now we had Maho, a specialist in brain science. If we work hard at treatment, I'm sure she'll be okay.
ねえ岡部さん
Okabe. Her voice was normal again.
ママに会いたい
I
よ
want to see Mommy.
会えるかな
Can I?
会えるさ
You can. Someday.
よかった
I'm glad.
おお
There was another sudden gunshot. Kagari's body collapsed right in front of me. I looked over at where it came from and saw another girl in a black motorcycle suit. She wasn't wearing a helmet, so I could tell it was Kiryu Maweka, pointing a gun at us. Her face was deathly pale, and she was crying.
なんで
Why?
なんでお前
Why are you here? Why, Kiryu Moeka?
FB ねえ FB 私あんな女になんか騙されなかった。こんなの
I didn't let that woman
偽
trick
物の
me.
携帯だって分かったよ。
I knew this was a fake phone.
だからお願
So
い
please,
私を見捨て
don't
ない
abandon me, FB.
FB
FB. The cell phone fell from her hands. Another shot from her gun blew it into fragments. I held Kagari in my arms. Her chest was turning red. Hey! Hang in there!
よかった。
God.
神様の言う通りにしても
Even the voice of God
間違う
wasn't
こと
right all the time.
あったんだ。自己自得
This
ですよ。
is my punishment.
彼女の心を踏みにじって
I destroyed her heart
利用しようと。
and tried to manipulate her.
ごめんなさい。
I'm sorry.
こんな子に
I
なる
didn't
つも
mean
りじゃ。
to grow up like
なかった。
this.
ね
Mommy,
え、ママ、
where are you?
どこ
Where are you?
どこなの？
Her voice grew thinner. Kiryu Moeka collapsed some distance away. Her eyes were unfocused, and all she did was mumble. She didn't seem capable of coherent thought. Both of them would be in danger if I didn't get them to a hospital. But... dozens of men in camo jumped over the fence on the roof, out of nowhere. What?! Even Daru and Maho couldn't succeed in this shortest time span. Or was this world line going to converge so that the war started here, no matter what? No, but...
無駄なんかじゃなかったさ。
it wasn't a waste. If nothing else, they'd bought me time. And if that delayed the attack long enough for Suzuha and Mayuri to leave... That's right. In this instant, we'd already won. The way forward was still uncertain, but there was no doubt that the path to Steins Gate lay before me. Target 1, lost. Target 2 and 3, lost as well. What's going on? The leader was talking on his radio. I could see attack helicopters in the sky. I heard the siren again. This is guerrilla attack information. Repeat, guerrilla attack information. A guerrilla attack may occur in this area. Please get indoors and obtain further information from radio and television broadcasts. The war was starting. Just as I had thought, even the time leap couldn't change that. Is that you, Lintalo? Leskinen appeared from behind the men in camo. That's right. He was a secret member of Stratfor, just like them. What are you doing here? Is Kagari dead? Tell me, Lintalo. Where's the time machine? I laid Kagari down on the ground and slowly rose back up. Blood wouldn't stop coming from out the wound on my leg. The pain was getting worse. But even still, I stood up proud and strong. In front of the men with their guns. In front of the attack helicopter with its rocket launchers. In front of the professor. In front of the war that was about to begin. I laughed as loud as I could in that voice. Listen well, fools! The time machine you sought to attain is gone! It no longer exists in this time! Too bad! Now curse your own incompetence! And tremble in fear! For I, the great Hyoin Kyoma, will never lose to you! And I will never lose to fate! I will find the path to Steins Gate! That's right. This was the beginning of the long, long epigraph needed to reach Steins Gate. Madness is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Einstein once said that when he was despaired of human folly. But now I could gladly give myself over to that madness and folly. I would use every bit of dedication and obsession within me to seek the lone different outcome, which the laws of God could not reach. That is my choice! Whew. My god, it felt good to be Hyoin Kyoma again for a short while. I also do love the fact that it's basically, here's the middle finger, go fuck yourselves. Oh, I need, oh god. I actually need to cough after that one. I'm not gonna lie, I needed to come back and record the ending because I kept I kept recording after that first session and I was like, I'm surely near the ending soon. I'm surely near the ending soon. And I had to stop because I basically got to like 3:30 in the morning and it's like, I need to stop and sleep at some point. So I had to come back and record this end bit on a different day. Y'all can probably tell from where the audio jumps before the time leap. Yeah. Oh god. What an ending. It's better than the last one, but then again, I feel like at this point, anything was better than Gahana's Stigma. And now I get to listen to the music, which will probably get this VOD claimed again. All I can do is cough and try and like get my voice back as I like want to reflect on it, but there's nothing else to say at this point. So I have since looked at a diagram as to how to get the endings, because unlike Gate, this one kind of like has branches, whereas the other one was like mostly linear, but if you chose not to answer your phones, you got the optional one. This one is you got to do certain things at certain points. A bit more like the Nonary games now that I think about it, but oh god. So I know that I need to come back here eventually once I've got all the other endings to get the true ending, in air quotes. Which, to be fair, fucking hell. It's I'm gonna need it. I'm gonna need that. Vega and Altair. Oh, I've got wallpaper! Hell yeah! Oh wait, that's probably from my phone. Oh, I can't stop coughing. Jesus Christ, what's wrong with me? I was gonna say, I didn't get a divergence reading on this one. But then again, I don't know. Anyway, if I just look... Yeah, Vega and Altair. And then the other one was Gahana Stigma. So yeah, I need to achieve the other 3 endings, for which I need to go back to really early on in the game. Yeah, so as I say, before I can get the true ending, I need to go back and get the others. So, much like last time, feel free to suggest which one I go for next. And I will... No, not exit. I've got to remember, you leave the menus with backspace, not escape. Escape is just leave the game. Can we just take a moment and appreciate this image? This is fucking majestic in every way, shape, or form, and I'm so glad he got back to what he wanted to be. Ah, my god. My actual god. I've only got 2 endings! I've already got 2 endings, and I've been on a fucking roller coaster of emotions. I'm fully grateful that I'm in for the long haul. But yeah, oh god, I'm too flustered. I came back on a different day, and it's still like, I went back and edited the last part just to make sure I was on a similar emotional level. Spoilers, I still did cry. Nothing changes there. But yeah, so probably gonna have to split this in 2. I didn't want to. I wanted to leave it as to like roughly 1 episode, but if I put this on the end, it's gonna be 2 hours, so that's gonna be a thing. Anyway, thank you guys for watching these last couple episodes of Steins Gate. It's been one hell of a emotional roller coaster, and as I've said, I've still got 4 endings to get, so I'm ready to break inside some more. I feel like I've gone from like worst to best, and this is like best case scenario. I feel like everything else is downhill from here, so who knows. Anyway, if you like the videos in any capacity, please feel free to give the video a like down below. Leave a comment on whatever you feel like at this point. As I said, leave suggestions for endings I should go for next. And if you want to keep up to date with whenever I post other videos, be they of this, Persona 5 The Royal, or Valkyria Chronicles, which hopefully will be making its debut sometime this week. Debut? Return. Whatever. You know what I mean. By this week, it may have already gone out, but again, you know what I mean. Yeah, if you want to keep up to date with whenever I post videos of whatever at this point, please consider subscribing to the channel. In theory, YouTube sends you alerts as to when I post videos, but failing that, I think I have to press the bell button as well, so really all pressing the subscribe button does is you made me feel good about myself, so thanks in advance. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I've been Nyx, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Laters. Why is it when I said laters, the music goes fucking dramatic?